So let's just settle into a nice, comfortable seated posture. And let me get rid of my photo. And while you're settling, just, contemplate your day. I know, Shrey, it's early morning for you. Do we have any Aussies here? Not tonight, that I can see. So, Shrey, for you, just be, thinking about how your mind is different this morning from when it was when you went to sleep. And maybe do you still have some residue of any conversations from yesterday in your mind? And the same thing for all the rest of us. What's in the mind right now? And just contemplate on that. And just feel the sensation of your feet on the floor, the backs of your legs on your chair, or your feet under your legs if your legs are crossed. Of you on your cushion. Just maybe, I have a little cushion, something similar to this underneath me. Just something little, not too much, but just helps to keep my pelvis straight. And then just align your shoulders with the hips, and as best you can, your ears with your shoulders. So now you have this beautifully aligned spine. And, we all have different spines. We all have creative spines. So you just kind of do the best you can with the physical body you've got right now. You can rest your hands in your lap. Bring your attention to the crown of the head and just release any tension in the body, the face, the back of the neck, your limbs. Just go down the body to the feet. Notice the sensations of the breath as you inhale and exhale. Be aware of any kind of sensory information in your environment, so sound, smells, like that. So just allow all of that to be there, trying not to follow with the mind. Try not to investigate or even have opinions about it. So Judith's neighbor's a little deaf and is talking quite loudly, so I can hear it through the wall, through my headphones. And what I'm working on right now is trying not to be distracted by that and trying not to wish that it would stop. And then be aware of, bring your attention back to your mind again and just be aware of what's arising now. And just put some space in between your thoughts, Try not to follow them. And then just be objective about what you're seeing in there. And try and be, curious rather than judgmental. Then bring to mind all the people of your life, your loved ones, your strangers, the ones you don't like, remembering they can all change at any time. These relationships can shift and alter. And just keep in mind that despite how you feel about any one of them at any particular time, they're all equal in their wish to be happy, They wish to be free from suffering and having this extraordinary capacity for a Buddha mind. So I think we'll do this practice of Vajrasattva this evening for all these people of our life, and by extension, all sentient beings. So we think there is no negativity that can't be purified, and this purification process is basically a psychological one. We create negativity with our mind, so equally we can change that by creating positivity instead. And we start with the power of regret. So sincerely regret from the depths of your heart anything you have done to harm any living being on this day, in this life, and in all of our past lives, and think of specific actions of both your body and your speech, and then in general, regret all. And the reason to regret is based on this logic of karma, and we experience everything due to our past karma, our past actions. And so having harmed others, we ourselves will necessarily experience suffering in the future. And we cannot bear the thought of any future suffering that we might experience. And we know from our present suffering we don't want any more. So logically, it makes sense to remove the karmic seeds before they ripen as future suffering for us. So think like this: I regret from the depths of my heart having harmed others with my body and my speech, having broken my vows because I do not want the future suffering. I'm sick of suffering, and also regret any anger, attachment, and the rest that are the cause of why we harm others, and then think, I'm sick of this suffering, and then think, what can I do about it? Whom can I turn to? And so here we come to the power of reliance. So we turn to the Buddha, who we see as a doctor who has these methods that we can use to purify. And it's not that we're needing Buddha Vajrasattva to forgive us. We're not looking for a higher power. We're purifying ourselves by relying upon his medicine. So imagine Vajrasattva above the crown of your head. You can also imagine this is the mind of your teacher manifesting in this form for your benefit. And he's made of this beautiful, radiant, blissful white light, sitting cross-legged on a white lotus and a moon cushion. He has a beautiful, radiant face, and his eyes are long and peaceful and full of love and compassion for you and all those people of your life. He has a sweet red mouth. His hair is black and held up in a top knot, and his arms are crossed at his heart, and the left underneath the right, closest to the body. The left is holding a bell, representing wisdom, and the right is holding a vajra, which represents the indestructibility of compassion, and their being crossed represents a union of these two, and this symbolizes enlightenment itself, the development of infinite wisdom and infinite compassion. To the Buddha, the Dharma, and the Sangha, I go for refuge until I'm enlightened. By this practice of meditating on Guru Vajrasattva, may I reach Buddhahood so as to benefit all sentient beings. And so here we come to this little section on compassion. And in order to develop compassion, we need to rely upon other beings and the very beings we have harmed and those who have harmed us by developing compassion for them. So think particularly of people you've harmed recently and in the past, and then in general, all beings we have ever harmed since beginningless time. And then remember those who have harmed you and have compassion for them, because the harm they've caused you is going to result as suffering for them sometime in the future. So make a strong aspiration to do this practice of purification for the sake of all these beings, and think, I must purify for their sake. And then we come to the power of remedy, and this is the medicine, doing the practice of purification. And we're using light and this, visualization of light and nectar and chanting mantra. So we start with the body, and imagine Vajrasattva very compassionately sends powerful white nectar, like coming out of a hose, quite forcefully from his heart, and it arcs around and enters your crown and pours into your entire body filling you completely, and it keeps pouring until it forces out of your lower orifices all the harm you've ever done to any living being with your body in the form of inky liquid, and this pours out of you and disappears into space, not one atom left as we recite the mantra. Om Vajrasattva Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasattva Dina Patita Jida Meboa Situkaya Meboa Sipokaya Meboa Anurakta Meboa Sawasidi Mimpiyatsa Sawa Kama Sitame Sitam Shriyam Guru Hum Ha Ho Bhagavan Sawa Tata Gata Vajramami Mutta Vajrabawa Mahasamaya Sata A Hompe Om Vajrasattva Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasattva Dina Patita Jida meboa, situkaya meboa, sipokaya meboa, anarakta meboa, sawa sidi mimpiyatsa sawa kama sita me, sitam shriyam kuru hum ha ho bhagavan, sawa tatagata vajramami mutta vajrabawa mahasamaya sata a hum pe. Vajrasattva samaya manupalaya, vajrasattva dina patita, jida meboa, situkaya meboa, sipokaya meboa, Anurakta meboa sawasidi mimpiyatsa sawa kama sita me. Sitam shriyam kuru hum ha ho bhagavan sawa tatagata vajramami mutta vajrabawa mahasamaya sata a hum pe. Vajrasattva samaya manupalaya vajrasattva dina patita. Jida meboa situkaya meboa sipokaya meboa. Anurakta meboa sawasidi mimpiyatsa sawa kama sita me. Sitam shriyam kuru hum ha ho bhagavan Sawa Tatagata Vajramami Mutta Vajrabawa Mahasamaya Sata A Hum Pe. Vajrasattva Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasattva Dina Patita. Jida Meboa Situkaya Meboa Sipokaya Meboa Anurakta Meboa Sawasidi Mimpiyatsa Sawa Kama Sita Me. Sitam Shriyam Kuru Hum Ha Ho Bhagavan Sawa Tatagata Vajramami Mutta Vajrabawa Mahasamaya Sata A Hum Pe. Vajrasattva samaya manupalaya vajrasattva dina patita trida meboa situkaya meboa sipokaya meboa anurakta meboa sawasidi mimpiyatsa sawa kama sita me sitam shriyam kuru hum ha ho bhagavan sawa tatagata vajramami mutta vajrabawa mahasamaya sata a hum pe vajrasattva samaya manupalaya vajrasattva dina patita Trida meboa, situkaya meboa, sipokaya meboa, anarakta meboa, sawasidi mimpiyatsa sawa kama sita me, sitam shriyam kuru hum ha ho bhagavan, sawa tatagata vajramami mutta vajrabawa mahasamaya sata a hum pe. So be delighted that all the harm you've ever done to any sentient being with your body is now completely purified, and think that there's no way you could do anything other than benefit others now with your body. And next is the purification of our speech. And Vajrasattva very compassionately, very happily sends powerful nectar from his heart chakra. And this arcs around and quite forcefully enters your crown and fills your entire body, except this time forcing up to the top of your body all the negativity of your speech, and this overflows and disappears into space, not one atom left. So just imagine all the gossip and the harsh speech and the useless speech, lying and talking about people behind their backs and getting other people to agree with you, all our inappropriate speech. All of this is purified by this powerful nectar filling you as we recite the mantra again. Vajrasattva samaya manupalaya vajrasattva dina patita jida meboa situkaya meboa sipokaya meboa anurakta meboa sawasidi mimpiyatsa sawa kama sita me sitam shriyam kuru hum ha ho bhagavan sawa tatagata vajramami mutta vajrabawa mahasamaya sata a hom pe Vajrasattva samaya manupalaya vajrasattva dina patita Jida meboa, situkaya meboa, sipokaya meboa, anurakta meboa, sawasidi mimpiyatsa sawa kama sita me, sitam shriyam kuru hum ha ho bhagavan, sawa tatagata vajramami mutta vajrabawa mahasamaya sata a hum pe. Vajrasattva samaya manupalaya, vajrasattva dina patita, Jida meboa, situkaya meboa, sipokaya meboa, Anorakta me boa sawa sidi mimpi yatsa sawa kama sita me. Sitam shriyam kuru hum ha 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 ho bhagavan sawa tata gata vajramami mutta vajrabawa mahasamaya sata a hum pe. Vajrasattva samaya manupalaya vajrasattva dina patita. Trida me boa sitokaya me boa sipokaya me boa. Anorakta me boa sawa sidi mimpi yatsa sawa kama sita me. Sitam shriyam kuru hum ha 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 ho bhagavan Sawatata gata vajramami mutta vajrabawa mahasamaya sata a humpe. Vajrasattva samaya manupalaya vajrasattva dina patita. Trida meboa situkaya meboa sipokaya meboa. Anorakta meboa sawasidi mimpi yatsa sawa kama sita me. Sitam shriyam kuru hum ha 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 ho bhagavan. Sawatata gata vajramami mutta vajrabawa mahasamaya sata a humpe. Vajrasattva samaya manupalaya vajrasattva dina patita. Trida meboa situkaya meboa sipokaya meboa. Anorakta meboa sawasidi mimpi yatsa sawa kama sita me. Sitam shriyam kuru hum ha 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 ho bhagavan. Sawatata gata vajramami mutta vajrabawa mahasamaya sata a humpe. Vajrasattva samaya manupalaya vajrasattva dina patita. Trida meboa situkaya meboa sipokaya meboa. Anorakta meboa sawasidi mimpi yatsa sawa kama sita me. Sitam shriyam kuru hum ha 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 ho bhagavan. Sawatata gata vajramami mutta vajrabawa mahasamaya sattva a hum pe. So just imagine that all the gossip and the harsh speech and the useless speech and lying and talking about people behind their backs and getting other people to agree with you, all of this is purified by this powerful nectar filling you as we recite the mantra again. Oh, wait. We just did that. I'm sorry. So I feel so happy that your speech is now completely purified. But just imagine how that would be. So it's almost like if we had this motivation that every single word, that kind of every single syllable that falls out of your mouth benefits another person. So the only reason to speak would be to be of benefit to another person. I mean, to have that level of awareness would be just like extraordinary. And so often we don't have that kind of awareness unless we're around, maybe for those of us who are Buddhists, when we're around our teachers, and then we're a little more careful, a bit more subdued maybe. So I think that it wouldn't be possible, but when you purify your speech, it wouldn't be possible to do anything other than benefit others, including yourself. So now the mind, and Vajrasattva very compassionately sends powerful beams of light from his heart chakra, and this arcs around and enters your crown and fills your entire being. So you imagine you've walked into a room, it's pitch black, you flick on the switch, and the light that comes instantly dispels the darkness. So it's the same here. The moment the light from Vajrasattva's heart hits your heart chakra, all the darkness of the negativity of your mind, all your attachments, neediness, bitterness, grudges, anger, depression, anxiety, all of this instantly dispelled, not one atom left as we recite the mantra. Vajrasattva samaya manupalaya vajrasattva dina patita trida meboa situkaya meboa sipokaya meboa anarakta meboa sawasidi mimpi yatsa sawa kama sita me sitam shriyam kuru hum ha 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 ho bhagavan sawa tata gata vajramami mutta vajrabawa mahasamaya sata a hum pe vajrasattva samaya manupalaya vajrasattva dina patita Trida meboa, situkaya meboa, sipokaya meboa, anarakta meboa, sawasidi mimpi yatsa sawa kama sita me, sitam shriyam kuru hum ha 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 ho bhagavan, sawa tata gata vajramami mutta vajrabawa mahasamaya sata a hum pe. Vajrasattva samaya manupalaya, vajrasattva dina patita, trida meboa, situkaya meboa, sipokaya meboa, Anorakta meboa sawasidi mimpi yatsa sawa kama sita me. Sitam Shriyam Kuru Hum Ha 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 Ho Bhagavan Sawatata Gata Vajramami Mutta Vajrabawa Mahasamaya Sata A Hum Pe Vajrasafa Samayam Manupalaya Vajrasafa Dina Patita Trita Meboa Situkaya Meboa Sipokaya Meboa Anarakta Meboa Sawasidi Mimpiyatsa Sawa Kama Sita Me Sitam Shriyam Kuru Hum Ha 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 Ho Bhagavan Sawatata Gata Vajramami Mutta Vajrabawa Mahasamaya Sata A Hum Pe Vajrasafa Samayam Manupalaya Vajrasafa Dina Patita Trida Meboa Sitokaya Meboa Sipokaya Meboa Anurakta Meboa Sawasidi Mimpiyatsa Sawa Kama Sita Me Sitam Shriyam Kuru Hum Ha 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 Ho Bhagavan Sawatata Gata Vajramami Mutta Vajrabawa Mahasamaya Sata A Hum Pe Vajrasafa Samayam Manupalaya Vajrasafa Dina Patita Trida Meboa Sitokaya Meboa Sipokaya Meboa Anurakta Meboa Sawasidi Mimpiyatsa Sawa Kama Sita Me Sitam Shriyam Kuru Hum Ha 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 Ho Bhagavan Sawatata Gata Vajramami Mutta Vajrabawa Mahasamaya Sata A Hum Pe Vajrasafa Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasafa Dina Patita Trida Meboa Situkaya Meboa Sipokaya Meboa Anurakta Meboa Sawasidi Mimpiyatsa Sawa Kama Sita Me Sitam Shriyam Kuru Hum Ha 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 Ho Bhagavan Sawatata Gata Vajramami Mutta Vajrabawa Mahasamaya Sata A Hum Pe. So be delighted that all your delusions, which are the source of our own suffering and why we harm others with our body and our speech, are completely purified. And think now there's no space in your heart for anything other than love and kindness and forgiveness and wisdom and bliss and compassion. So now is the purification of the imprints of negativity of the body, speech, and mind. So you imagine the nectar flowing down, pushing out all the negativity of the body, and then the nectar flowing up and pushing out all the negativity of the speech, and then the light coming and just blasting all of our delusions. And just imagine this is all happening simultaneously, all at the same time. And in the process, eradicates even the subtlest imprints of negative energy from your consciousness. Vajrasafa Samayam Manupalaya Vajrasafa Dina Patita Jida Meboa Situkaya Meboa Sipokaya Meboa Anurakta Meboa Sawasidi Mimpiyatsa Sawa Kama Sita Me Sitam Shriyam Kuru Hum Ha 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 Ho Bhagavan Sawatata Gata Vajramami Mutta Vajrabawa Mahasamaya Sata A Hum Pe Vajrasafa Samayam Manupalaya Vajrasafa Dina Patita Jida Meboa Situkaya Meboa Sipokaya Meboa Anurakta Meboa Sawasidi Mimpiyatsa Sawa Kama Sita Me Sitam Shriyam Kuru Hum Ha 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 Ho Bhagavan Sawatata Gata Vajramami Mutta Vajrabawa Mahasamaya Sata A Hum Pe Vajrasafa Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasafa Dina Patita Jida Meboa Situkaya Meboa Sipokaya Meboa Anurakta Meboa Sawasidi Mimpiyatsa Sawa Kama Sita Me Sitam Shriyam Kuru Hum Ha 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 Ho Bhagavan Sawatata Gata Vajramami Mutta Vajrabawa Mahasamaya Sata A Hum Pe Vajrasafa Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasafa Dina Patita Drida Meboa Situkaya Meboa Sipokaya Meboa Anurakta Meboa Sawasidi Mimpiyatsa Sawa Kama Sita Me Sitam Shriyam Kuru Hum Ha 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 Ho Bhagavan Sawatata Gata Vajramami Mutta Vajrabawa Mahasamaya Sata A Hum Pe Vajrasafa Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasafa Dina Patita Drida Meboa Situkaya Meboa Sipokaya Meboa Anurakta Meboa Sawasidi Mimpiyatsa Sawa Kama Sita Me Sitam Shriyam Kuru Hum Ha 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 Ho Bhagavan Sawatata Gata Vajramami Mutta Vajrabawa Mahasamaya Sata A Hum Pe Vajrasafa Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasafa Dina Patita Drida Meboa Situkaya Meboa Sipokaya Meboa Anurakta Meboa Sawasidi Mimpiyatsa Sawa Kama Sita Me Sitam Shriyam Kuru Hum Ha 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 Ho Bhagavan Sawatata Gata Vajramami Mutta Vajrabawa Mahasamaya Sata A Hum Pe Vajrasafa Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasafa Dina Patita Jida Meboa, Situkaya Meboa, Sipokaya Meboa, Anarakta Meboa, Sabosidi Mimpi Yatsa Sawa Kama Sita Me, Sitam Shriyam Kuruhum, ha 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 ho, Bhagawan, Sawa Tata Gata Vajramame Mutta Vajrabawa Mahasamaya Satra A Hum Pe. So now feel completely purified. Not one atom of negativity left in your mind stream. Even the subtlest obscurations to your enlightenment have been removed. And now we come to the power of resolve. And this is the fourth and final step in the purification process, and very crucial that we make a decision that this is something we want to do. Because without this decision, nothing's going to happen. So first of all, rejoice in your efforts coming along tonight, this morning. And then think of something you'd like to work on. Some small thing. It doesn't have to be a big, doesn't have to be the biggest thing you need to work on. Start off with something that's doable, that you will actually do. And then think Vajrasattva is delighted with us and wants to merge with your mind and melts into white light and absorbs into you through your crown. And think, my teacher's body, speech, and mind, Vajrasattva's body, speech, and mind, and my own body, speech, and mind are the same. So next, Rinpoche recommends to meditate on emptiness. So in emptiness, there is no I, the creator of negative karma. There is no action of creating negative karma. And there is no negative karma created. So at whatever level you understand emptiness, place your mind there for a little while. We can think of all phenomena as being empty. They do not exist from their own side. And also the way things appear to me might not necessarily be the way they actually exist. So let's just dedicate all the merit, all the positive energy you've created doing this practice to all living beings, and think, may all the virtuous karma I've created from doing this practice ripen as my enlightenment for the sake of sentient beings as quickly as possible. So let's do some little verses for finding Rinpoche's reincarnation. Uprooting all becoming with 12 links, endowed with purity in all 12 forms, his form the way of fourfold noble truth, with realization of the eightfold knowledge, with meaning of the truths in 12-fold form, aware of suchness in its 16 forms, with true awakening in 20 forms, awakened fully, knowing all supreme. Dispatching countless sets of some 10 million embodiments of emanating Buddhas, the final realization of all moments, who knows each moment's object for all minds. All right, everyone. Don't understand every single word in that text, but it sounds nice. Okay. So it kind of sounds almost like dramatic or something, but it's quite beautiful. All right, everyone. A strong wish for His Holiness to live long, for swift finding of Lama Zopa Rinpoche, swift appearance, and for all of your own individual teachers. And for Kimberly, may you live long, and Shrey, for your father to either be born in a precious human rebirth or in a pure realm. Okay, and lots of love to you and to your
Thank
family. Okay. All
Thank you
right.
as well, Katie.
No worries, Shay. Of course, you take care. Lots of love. Thanks, everybody. Thank you for hosting, Shayla.